Well, we've waited a while. Like I said, longer than I anticipated having to wait. But we are here for the very first Gen 4 race. It is the NASCAR Snowball Shootout. It is 21 chat cars taking on, unfortunately, modern Daytona. Since 08 Daytona, for whatever reason, these cars just could not handle. It is El Jefe with the inaugural pole. Gundy on the outside in the Taco Bell 81. And we are about to go green at Daytona. Well, you see what happens when Evo doesn't qualify poorly? He's going to battle for the lead on lap 1. He will not get it. First NASCAR shootout, Snowball shootout lap, led by the 81. So now you kind of get to see just how much differently these cars, I think, do race at modern Daytona than the modern ones do. You still get the two lines, obviously. It's Daytona and whatnot. And they do still drop down to the bottom. But I feel like it's a lot harder to get a good run with these things. Now we are finally fully up to speed. Flirting with forming a third line. There's also some cars at the back of the pack that are flirting with losing the draft. They better get on their horse to stay with it. There are no stages in the Snowball Shootout, so if you lose the draft, you're going to have to rely on caution to get back in it. Running side by side ain't helping them, and they all just seem to be falling back. Back up at the front, it is kind of Roush Racing dominated. The 6, the 97, the 99, the 16, the 17, they're all up here. The only one that isn't is Brayton Lester, the scheme that did not load in the 60 car back in 14th place. Because you actually, Evo, you actually qualified well. Evo will drop down to the bottom in third. We also shouldn't really have a problem with cars ever breaking away. It should not be something that we're going to see. It really should not. I would think with these cars, even with the modern cars, I would think it's not possible. And yet it was for that one race in the Daytona 500 last year. But for this one, it's just hard to imagine. These things are boats when they're by themselves. Well, that inside lane holding strong. Now, just as I say that, Jeff, your pole sitter, look to get back in and make a middle lane. Not the case. I tell you, there's a lot more separation here than I was expecting. It really looks a lot more like an older Daytona race than you might have thought. I was a little bit worried about that. We're kind of at that sunset stage. I don't know if it's going to be fully dark by the time this thing ends. As Squid continues to lead. We also just are not quite sure of how long a fuel run might be. Jeff looking to make a move again. And hey, man, you never know. Those cars that are dropping back already. I mean, we're down to 5 cars here in this lead pack. Put a well-formed line together. They can catch this because this continues to break up here at the front. And just as I said that, it really felt like that secondary group started to get a run and then ran in to the 3 Fords that are kind of just blocking the road right now. I would think the smartest thing this pack could do is just to stay strong, hold together, and then catch those front 2. Gotta imagine that as a whole, everybody's faster. Not really running in a straight line. It's the skew. It's the skew on the cars. I'm sure that's the problem. But you can definitely see that they're faster. Unfortunately, Red Wing's going to go to the outside here to get around Jeff. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. So they're not really breaking away. It's just, maybe they are breaking away just a little bit. 6 in the 81 at the front of the field. And a quick check back in with everybody at the back. How's it going back here? Ash in 17th place. Running side by side with Aiden. That's, again, not where you want to be. Now I think we're starting to see some progress as the big pack is finally starting to catch those front 2. Led by Miss Arian, the Matt Kens is 17, makes it move to the outside, and the race at the front back on. So just the 100 laps. We race on lap 8. So far incident-free, but Pat looked a little racy in there. Gundy making a move for the lead. Not a lot of help from behind, though. Oh, now Red Wings will jump out of line. I don't even think Gyro Cam was around when these cars raced at Daytona, but let's go to it. I believe TBNR cars led lap 10. This group mostly holding strong. We really haven't dropped anybody from the initial drop, but we are at risk of losing Red Wings and Miss Airy here, although it looks like they've got the drop back again. Your pole sitter Jeff back to the front. Squid, the current most laps leader, drops back down into second place in front of the Chevy of TBNR cars. Gonna be at least one pit stop in this race, and potentially would not be surprised if it was two. If we get a yellow flag, when we get a yellow flag. How about the Hockey Pro? First ever race in any form of NASCAR Chat Series, up in front. His teammate just now off screen in the 71. Yeah, so that's what we would expect from the next gens, about 40 to 45, maybe a little sooner. But hard to say with these ones. We gotta remember, these are cars from 2003. Trying to go 3 wide in the lead group. Evo working with Smee, something we never thought we'd see. Now it's all kinds of broken up as the outside was gaining some momentum, just for everybody to drop back into a line again. But you see what I'm talking about, though? It's a whole hell of a lot more difficult to stay with the lead group in this series compared to any of the others that we've done. The Mazdas, y'all ran the same car, and in theory, you're running the same car here too. But with the Chat Series, I mean, everybody's just so tightly packed together all the time, and they get such great runs. These cars really don't. That's why you're seeing it. It really takes some help for somebody to try and make a pass on the outside lane. Which, knowing this AI, they're not going to give up. You know, I wonder if the AI is like that. Just because, you know, you're not supposed to use the iRacing AI like I do. I wonder if it's more difficult to pass on the outside type of thing, so the AI is just programmed to always be on the bottom. Oh, goodness gracious. Why is there... Oh, no. We are only 15 laps into this thing. And Caleb and Lucas, running side by side for Lord knows how long, are at risk of going a lap down here. And not only that, they're just going to block the leaders here. Like, they don't have a path to get around. Like, they do, they just can't figure it out. Lucas going to get out of the way, but that bumps Jeff up to the middle lane. Which is really not where we've seen a lot of successful movement happen thus far. You're running up on the 44 here shortly. The old gamer Aiden and Ash, they're not really making up a lot of ground. We do have lucky dogs. We do have waiver rounds for this series. What we do not have is fast repairs. This Gundy makes a smart move, getting in with the lap cars, trying to just pull away from this lead group, which is now, unfortunately... Oh! Okay. Well, we're going to get our first debris yellow of the day. I kind of forgot about those. Just about ready to get back to green at Daytona. Debris yellow. Good call. Good call. That car's going a lap down already. We'll see if this restart is any better in that regard. And yes, the one that redeemed the debris yellow, the one that threw roll bar padding, the bush light can, whatever you want to call it, turns out to be one of the biggest benefactors of this caution flag. Ash goes from having lost the draft, it was 30 seconds plus behind the leader, to 5th on the restart. El Jefe will lead us to green yet again, this time with TV on our cars on the outside as we go back to green at Daytona. everyone formed up a little bit better off the restart. Nobody's lost the draft yet, even though Lucas was flirting with it at the back of the field. Orderly lines as we race on lap 21. There's a lot of movement, though, in the mid-pack cars, and that is a scary thing to see. It really looks like they're just begging, correct? If I'm honest here. TBNR cars, late season edition. In fact, I think the first race he ran was Darlington in the Morgan Shepherd throwback. That was driving the 89, now in the Spire 77. Before he makes the move to Roush Fenley, Keselowski Racing for NASCAR Chat Series 2026. Tell you what, the 81's been up front a lot. Taking the lead here again. It's good to see for Gundy because there's just no good results in the 48 car last year. We got a whole bunch of people up front right now that really haven't had any sort of success in this series at all. And a good chunk of them haven't been here that long. Like TBNR cars, like the Hockey Pros, who's in his debut. Jeff's been through everything, hasn't won anything. Gundy just the Chat Series a year ago. Ash, of course, a Talladega winner, but other than that, not much to speak of. Lamar as well, if we go back to Gran Turismo. B. Dollarsign in the Napa 15 hasn't won anything. Smee, well, we don't even want to talk about Smee. Still upset that he's our Indianapolis 500. The Hockey Pro back to the lead. He hasn't really stayed there very long when he gets to the point. Everybody's sticking together pretty well right now. I don't think anybody's lost the draft. Actually, so Lucas has not lost the draft, but Lucas is a lap down. I thought everybody got wave rounds. Apparently Lucas did not. Nice song separation. Looks like Caleb, myself, Red Wings in danger, as well as Lucas losing the draft again. That's a pretty big gap. 93 to get out in front of on the lead. Oh my, was that a little bit of a block, or at least an attempted block by the 93 car? We don't usually see that from the AI. As El Jefe is back to the front. So in the case of the unfortunate Brayton Laster not having his scheme load in, I might make him a pretty simple custom one. Greg Biffle Granger 60s just not gonna work. Even though I'm telling you, it did work. I saw it. It loaded in. We didn't have problems, but for whatever reason we do today. Back to the front. This is kind of essentially two DEI cars. You got the 15 and then the 81, which would, I guess, technically be Chance 2. Back when that team was a thing, before Junior Motorsports existed. I don't know what that just was from Jeff. Trying to get a toe off the 81 when he could have just done exactly what he just did. Same deal with the 44. I don't know why you'd even try to get a run there. Back of the pack, looks like I'm in danger of losing the draft. I got no help. Gotta pull in behind somebody. Looks like I'll stay with this lead group for now. Lap 26. No idea what just happened in the mid-pack there. I get that they're tightly packed together, but it felt like there was this separation that just appeared out of nowhere. I don't know. This is a whole lot more chaotic off our first restart of the day than anything of what we saw in the first, 21 laps? Everybody holding true right now, staying with it. We were flirting with 4 wide back there. Not sure we ever got it. We'll see in the field stretch out a little bit. Some moves being made to the outside in an effort to get the 93 out of the lead. Have not seen Aiden lead a lap yet today. Not quite clear of the 93. Some separation between him and the 16. The 5 still not clear. Under the line to complete lap 27. Hockey Pro yet again will lead the lap. There I am in the back of the pack, really flirting with losing the draft now. So, if that's going to wind up being the case, which it certainly looks like that's already happened, we'll be seeing me in about 10 laps. Running all on your own, you are so screwed. Let's go on board with Mr. DFL, the 0 of Austin. Coming around to take lap 30, it is still the Hockey Pro. No, it is not. Well, he led the lap, but from nearly going a lap down to the front is the 46. Not going to last very long, but certainly way more competitive at the front this time compared to what we saw off the start. And you can hold the lead for a good while. Yes, Thong. I feel like we need to zoom in on it just a little bit. Yes, that indeed says the Thong. Stripper up. I don't know where you found that, but that is the sponsor, at least for now. The 46 car. So now I guess throw the math out the window. We were kind of trying to count down to when we expected the first pit stops to happen. Every single car pitted under the green caution. So right now, everybody's going to be good for a while, but again, we just don't really know for how long. First race ever in an iRacing chat series in these Gen 4 cars, so we don't know how long they can last. You could probably reference something from back when these cars still ran, but who knows? As the inside lane, all of a sudden, hasn't really become the preferred lane. Everybody really bumped up to the middle. 4 cars on the inside, now making 5 for a last 2 drops to the bottom. El Jefe has been up here from the very get-go and really hasn't lost any ground. He's up here again. At least me personally, I have been rooting for success for Jeff because it has just gone so poorly. He was a Watkins Glen winner in Gran Turismo. He was... I feel like he won something else. I don't know. I feel like that Peugeot won a race at some point. But in terms of the Mazdas, in terms of NASCAR, anything iRacing, Jeff has had nothing. quick check-in on me. That's going well. I thought maybe I had Lucas. I do not have Lucas. Another car that's been up front all day is that Taco Bell 81. Third of the way through. Austin trying to make something happen in the middle. Going to get help from Ash, who jumps up from the bottom. Now back to the bottom. The 46 car. And I guess we're going to get those out of the way real early. Our second and final debris caution redeemed right now. Well, some interesting developments on our second and final debris yellow. We have two that under our second yellow flag have stayed out, the 93 and the 44. We have seen some bizarre pit strategies in NASCAR Chat Series history pan out. I don't think that's going to be one of them. Staying out for track position at Daytona when you're not even halfway is just not the move. I do not understand it. Maybe some desperation from the 44. I have no idea why the 93 stayed out. We are back to green at Daytona, and if we remain incident-free, this will be the final restart. I am perplexed. Down the pit lane comes Yo Gamer. Oh! We're going to have to take a look at what happened there. There's damage on the front of the number one. What the fuck happened there? All right, notepad open. Jesus, what? How did you get that damage? It didn't feel like there was an incident unless somebody did get moving. We'll have to restart. I do believe Red Wings in the 71 on the outside led that lap to take lap 40. 44. Stays in front for now. And with no faster pairs, I mean, you can count Yo Gamer right out of this thing. I think with the races being so short, I think the move all season long will be no faster pairs. But it'll change as needed. I don't think it'll be needed. Well, some big-time separation. We had a nice pack formed up. Second debris yellow, there's a good split. I think that second group led by Squid. It includes Squid, $, Lucas, Miss Airy, Evo, and myself. Yo Gamer left the pits a 2-minute trip to the pit lane. And we know from this point onward, not everybody can make it to the end of the race on fuel. 60-lap fuel runs at Daytona do not exist. Is all of a sudden, that one car is brand new. And as far as I can tell, only lost... No, that wouldn't... 2-minute pit stop, no way. The first time today, Caleb in the 33 will take the lead. Help from Dundee, help from God Squad brethren in El Jefe. There's some aggressive moves going on. And by the way, I don't really know if it does a whole lot. When the player, given that there is no player, is not racing. Something I noticed that iRacing added, and I don't know when they did, was an adaptive AI. Now, I don't have a great relationship with adaptive AI in racing games. It's usually been pretty poor when it has been tried. But we're giving the iRacing adaptive AI a go on medium. I don't know if it's going to matter all that much. Near the halfway point of the Daytona 250, D. Kuzmic drops down to the bottom to lead for the first time today. Oh, trying to get back in front of Ash to no avail as the 46 will get pushed back in front. So in the grand scheme of things, that first debris yellow, when Ash was 30 seconds off the lead, even in a roundabout way and after a second debris caution, it has worked out in her favor. I think the first one was pretty well executed. Save yourself while you can. A lot of separation going on right now. Yeah, me and Evo are friends. Let's go check in on us all the way in the back of the pack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're doing great. Great job, buds. Fuck. Like we could at least maybe hold our spot if we would fucking get behind, one of us get behind one another here. Nah, let's race side by side for 19th place. Jesus. And an even more disappointing news, back up at the front of the field, Smee. In the Miller Lite, Gale Jr., number 8, drops into the lead. Fuck are we doing, Evo? Can we get a...
What are we doing?
I hope we do. At this point, is it still going on back here? Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, I thought Evo might have had a run to get clear. Where's two buds just driving around? We're just having the time of our lives. You know what? Let's go on board for this debacle. Goodness. Somebody's got to tell us that this isn't drag racing. This is bad. Can you just imagine what the crew chiefs are saying on the radio? Get your head out of your ass! Smee is leading! Stop! Well, the lead pack is coming up on Yo Gamer, taking evasive action. Ash, save us all and do not let Smee win this race. Look at the battle for 17. I would imagine it's very similar. Yeah. Pat and B $sign are running side by side in the exact same way as me and Evo are. What the fuck are we doing here? Adaptive AI, my ass. Maybe they adapted the wrong way. Maybe that's a thought. Ash with a move. D. Kuzmic to help, as well as the Hockey Pro. New leader to take lap 49. Aiden and Lucas? Oh no. Oh no. Sure are. Is this what this race is going to boil down to? Are we going to be looking at nothing but this by the time this thing is over? And then look in front. Teammates nonetheless, Miss Airy and Squid, they're shaping up to do the same thing too. At least one of the Roush cars, couple of the Roush cars, have the right idea. D. Kuzmic dropping back after Ash retakes the lead. El Jefe still a part of this league group. As is Brayden Laster. That is a Roush car. You just can't tell because Trading Paints failed us yet again. Hockey Pros let a good chunk of this early stage of the race. Ash looking to pull out and maybe get some help. Yo Gamer, by the way, officially loses another lap. So who's going to lead at the halfway point? Probably be way further along without the debris yellows. Oh, I do not love that from the 71. The 93 comes in pits and Red Wings leads it halfway. I didn't really think we were that close. Well, here come the dominoes. Ash leads is the entire field nearing the end of their pit cycle. Maybe. Take a look at who comes down the pit lane this time. Ash on the bottom, looking like she might come down to the pits. Is that the case? No, oh, right. The 93 and the 44, they had stayed out, so the rest of the field good for a good while. I had forgotten about that pit strategy, which I just still, for the life of me, can't understand. So everybody in this lead group right here will have 35 pitters. We've still got a good ways to go. We're not battling for 19th anymore? Well, no, we're battling for 18th, but still in the exact same way as we were battling for 19th. I mean, hey, a two-wide finish could be fun if that's what it boils down to. Could have a real close one. Yeah, we're gonna be swallowed up into this pack here very soon if we are not careful. 40 seconds off the lead, not within camera view right now. Man, I'll tell you, this 99 has not gone anywhere today. It has been up front. And it is up front again. Jeff looking to right the wrongs. And the greatest thing about the start of a new iRacing season is that I really don't think we're going to have anybody that just turns into the GOAT of this thing, given that everybody has the same attributes. Like, if Pat wins the 2026 championship again, then, you know, we're going to be... I'd be genuinely surprised. I really would. Did we? We did. Now me and Jordo are side by side. Both in-game and literally. Problem becomes, here come the leaders. This is really starting to look a lot more like an older Daytona race. You get your drafting stages, but if racing stays green, it's never going to last. This is just a mess waiting to happen, by the way. Shootout just blocked Jeff. Look who's going to speed around the outside. She was trying, Ash. Had to run, had to check up. 99-year leader, the 46 on the outside, help from D. Kuznick. Looking to take the top spot for Roman Hats. Step back to lead, lap 55. Well, you know, I'll tell you what. It's one of the few tracks I think we're going to be able to do this, and we're going to do it right now. It is the old school cars. Let's have a good old, when I find the button I need, how about a good old crank it up? Pit stops have begun here at Daytona. Was on lap 60. But continuing here, Lucas and Misseri, takers. Last time. Not a shock. I think they were kind of back off the rest of the pack, and they were using more fuel in theory than everybody else. Squid, by the way, to the pit lane. New leader. The Zero has made its way to the front. It stops for everybody else aren't going to be too far removed from now. Is it? Is it the last one? So let's take a look at the last pit lap for these lead cars. Lap 35. That's when everybody up front lets pit. That is dicey to make it to the end. Did the 44 and the 93 really pull a fast one? Did they get it right? I think that's a real thing that we need to consider right now. Boston, your leader, not where he wants to be, of course. Although now, as we mentioned in qualifying, I believe, he is conflicted. Scarlet and gray on the car. So he wasn't so sure if he wanted to be last anymore. Although maybe he will earn the goal of DFL when he tries not to be DFL. There is that possibility, because we know how DFL worked out for him in the McLaren number 4 last year. $$sign doing something we don't often see. Now, this is not for position. That car is a lap down. I didn't mean to have the car logos on there for as long as I did, but I did. That car is a lap down, but a move to the inside to try and get around the leader there. That is quite a... In fact, we haven't seen it. Let's go back and take a look at the pit lap for those two cars, for the 44 and the 93. I just 50 and 51. There's just no way. There's no way. Maybe they're banking on something going on, but I just do not see a way that that's even possible. We should get, I think, the majority of the field back on the lead lap whenever this pit cycle does happen. These lead cars pitted now 31 laps ago. We're starting to get a good clue as to how long one can make it. 81 of Gundy. We haven't mentioned that car in a minute. Jeff is still right up in here as he's been all day. That car has been up front. I don't know if it's been outside the top 10. Pitting from now on, you can make it. Evo helping us out with the math, and things have started to fall. $$sign and Pat. Those are two cars that managed to get side by side earlier in the race, so not a shock to see them in together as well. 9 cars on the lead lap. Wow, what the fuck is the 44 doing? Okay. But I betrayed you. I mean, we don't know who left who here. Let's get that straightened out. And here comes a slew Austin leads him to the pit lane. That leaves one car on the lead lap, running essentially all by himself here. That is the 71 Red Wings. Right in behind his teammate, Hockey Pro, and that alternate strategy, and with the 44 that is on that same alternate strategy. I figured eventually we'd get a shot of these. What am I doing other than backing up the field here? Not so sure if staying out is going to work for the 71. That is really unfortunate. Apologies to Red Wings, as he will come down the pit lane. And especially after that, I have to imagine that Caleb is gonna get the lead here. The old gamer with a lap back the organic way. As this field, in theory, quite spread out right now. Caleb has had, and we mention it every time we're at Daytona, going back to as far as the Gran Turismo series, Caleb's had success at Daytona. One in the GT class in Gran Turismo, one in the Mazdas at the Oval. Not a Michigan State look on this car for this series. But Caleb is up front yet again. No draft help for you. You're hanging on here, especially with the 33 and the 0. They kind of got held up just a little bit there, as Yo Gamer is now behind the 71. Unfortunate for him. So we've got a 3-car race for the lead up in the front of the field. Who's going to lead? By the way, the prestigious lap 69. Who else? It is Austin. We have 30 to go from Daytona. Ash and Austin racing together. This reminds me of the Coca-Cola 600, which not a lot of people, unfortunately, got to see. That was, of course, when I was connected to a VPN and did not know it. In the aftermath of the TikTok ban, which actually also banned the TikTok-owned editing software that I use for YouTube, CapCut. So I was trying to bypass the ban there, and not only did it not work, but two, we also had the debacle that was the Coke 600. The difference was, it was me and Ash and Austin. Some slight frame nonsense there. Streamlabs has been doing some weird shit. Every time I'm in iRacing anymore. I don't even think that was the game. But here we are. Right now, this is it. This would be your race for the win. Caleb's dropping back, but he's dropping back to Jeff Gundy Red Wings and Smee, who are in tight together. And with that group, you would think a group, assuming they are built up together as an actual pack, or at least in a line, just drafting, just running faster than these two, they could catch them. Even without it, they're kind of holding their own. But I guess we should check on that pack to kind of see what's going on. And it's better built up than I thought it would be. The 99, the 71, the 8, the 15. The 5 is not for position. 81 should really get him behind the 15, because that is a spot. But I guess they're going to work it out. And we'll see if some gains can be made. now, a lot's got to happen. And I think knowing that, now granted, lap 67, that's probably cutting it close, yes? 33 laps. Better hope you got it full. Lash sitting in second place. I don't know if we've done an onboard for Ash yet, so here we go. Outside of cranking up. I can't say this is the most exciting race for the league I've ever seen. Oh, that doesn't work either. Get that out of there. Try that! Let's try that. Why is the logo all of a sudden smaller? Why am I having to resize this place? 19th gets top points. Yeah. Yes. Yep, absolutely. We have 25 laps to go at Daytona. I guess you do worry if you are the zero. I think I would. Leading this much, using more fuel, that can become a problem. And is Ash able to let off the gas enough and just kind of ride the toe of Austin's car enough to save enough fuel to get to the end? I didn't think that these cars were going to be close on fuel, but I think the zero being out front this long, I think that's a problem. 14 cars now on the lead lap. Squid, I think, might be all by himself, and he is. So the 0 and the 46 are catching the 6 car. That has no help whatsoever. And potentially, even though that 0's been out front by himself a long time, maybe that bails Austin out. 23 laps to go. How is the secondary group doing? Oh, that's even worse. They're 3 wide back there. What the fuck? Figure it out.
What are we doing?
Fuck me. This feels like a bad time to tell you that Daytona is the site of the Snowball Shootout finale. Maybe I don't think that's an adaptive AI. I think that's just iRacing AI in general being a little bit sus. I wonder if maybe for the next race turn it off. Go back to what we did, which is the AI skill spread. So that's the thing. I tell you all the time that all the cars have the exact same attributes, and that is partially true. They have the same attributes in the collection in which I make the series. However, to give some variety, we do have that skill spread, which I usually leave for the NASCAR Chat Series last year. Once we really started to figure some things out, it was 85 to 105. So it produced some varied results. Because if I didn't do that, then all of the chat cars would just be far and away better. We had a race like that last year where the chat cars just outpaced all of the real drivers. Hockey Pro to the pits from 11th. Safe to say that strategy did not work. So we are about to come to 20 laps to go. Austin and Ash did a good job getting by the lapped car of Squid. Same here for Miss Airy. But however, you got D. Kuzmic and myself directly in front of them running too wide. How are they going to navigate this? Yeah, I'd expect the number 8 car in soon. Probably this lap. And while I was looking off screen, they got by the lapped cars. Lap cars, however, formed up. My car's just so bad. I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm there with the draft, and yet I am not. Yeah, man. Certainly not a great race for the 13. Ooh, look at this group. Are they making up time? No. They are not. Well, barring some pit stop debacles, I think it is going to be another wasted opportunity for Jeff. It's probably going to be our last onboard of the Daytona 250. Let's go on board with El Jefe. Answer the question, no. I did not. So really the race for the win boils down, I think, to if the Zero car has enough. And this is also this prolonged of a stretch at the front of the field, I think, is going to secure most laps led. That was interesting there. Almost looked like he thought about making it to the pit lane. Oh! What? So this might actually benefit that group if they were able to stay true. This might break up this lead group, or at least give Ash the chance to pass. Not the case. This is smart from the 0. Oh, well, no, it's not. I was going to say, if he just sits there and rides around with the 11, I think we're good. Do finally get the answer to the question, by the way. The 44 down the pit lane. The 0 is through the lap traffic. I think Lucas, Misseri, and Evo are probably going to hang on. Maybe not. Actually, the 46 with a push for the 11. This group might stick together. Lucas in the 11 trying to make a move around the outside. Ash is going to get out there and swap positions with the 11. Oh, boy. She's got to be careful she doesn't lose this entire group. Otherwise, the 0 is just going to drive these final 14 laps easy the rest of the way. Whoa! Some developments! Ash to the lead. Oh, what happened there with the 0? 46 to that spot, and at least now we're going to start to see those two cars cycle. And I do still worry about what sort of fuel load the 0 could have. I don't know why either one of these two cars would be the first one, especially if you're the lead car. I don't know why you would ever make the move to the outside and open yourself up like Ash just did for the 0 to get to the inside, although he did not. Evo is racing with the leaders, just not for the lead. This pack could get stronger yet. DNR cars. That's the 9th place car. It's Pat, who's in 17th, already a lap down. This finish could get messy because we're gonna have to keep track of two cars in amongst. Oh, that 0 almost was not clear of Evo. The 97 did him a favor by letting him in. 13 laps to go. About to be 12. DNR cars, it's a relatively strong finish if 9th place holds, but nearly an entire lap down. This is kind of the most separation we've seen between those two lead cars in quite some time. Lucas and Pat, both 2 laps down, separate. The 46 and the 0. Is the Thong going to win Daytona? That is a true possibility right now. And if that winds up being the case, we are looking at one of possibly the greatest uses of the debris caution ever. Because the 46 was 32 seconds off the lead off the initial start of the race. After all of this, I think Austin is through. And can the 46 and the 0 break out for a lead again? And honestly, Ash is trying to do that with the lap down car of the 77. Well, not lap down yet, but nearly. But in moves Austin. He's not done yet. Lucas, Misseri to the pits. Can I very quickly check their last pit lap? No, I missed it. I'm so lonely. You do have to feel bad for Corey. Been by himself a lot of this race. At least I found some friends. In 19th place, 2 laps down, but friends. coming to 9 to go. I still question whether or not those two lead cars have enough to make it to the end. I think, whoa, look at the push from the lap down cars for the Zero of Austin back to the lead. That run came from out of nowhere. So now two cars sit in between Austin and Ash, just in reversed order. Brayton Lasters kind of joined this party. One lap down in 9th place. Squid with a quick gas and go. Down in 13. I'm really starting to wonder. Now, the gap between Ash and between Austin is a pretty substantial one. And if they do have to pit, it will not be for much. Look back at Austin's history in the chat series that we've done. You're looking at a big fat 0 wins. The 0, or you might even say the block O on the car number. Hasn't won a damn thing. But now he's back to the lead and back to burning through more fuel. And there is a sizable amount of separation between Austin and Ash now. Nearly a second. 46 has gotta get with somebody to start clawing back. 7 laps to go. Some friends aren't the worst thing in the world for Ash right now. 0 and the 93, and the 93 had speed today for the hockey. This really bizarre pit strategy really took him out of this thing. Austin will pit on the final lap. He'd have to make it that far. Ash with a smart move to the bottom. 46 not dead yet. If I was the 46, I'd wait for somebody else to make the move like that. I would have gone with that. She will, but a little bit late, and now just going to drop back in behind the 0. There's no other cars for the moment that are flirting with spoiling the party. Oh, that was the 93 Hockey Pro checked up, blocks off the leaders. Oh, Ash is looking to the outside, trying to get something going. 5 to go at Daytona. And the 46. No idea what happened there, and now, yeah, I was gonna say, Squid might be her best chance. Get in behind, try and get something going again. Big check up there in the corner. Just for shits and giggles, looking back at Caleb, 7 seconds back in 3rd. He does have the same last pit lap. Crisis averted for Ash yet again, though. TBNR cars with the move. These two at the front have just managed to find a way. Feels like dominoes are falling, yep, left and right with, that was concerning. Left and right with, cars pitting around him. I wonder if they have enough. Ash is back to the lead for the moment, with no help on the outside. 0 would be smart to stay exactly where he is. Ash was clear for a moment, unable to get to the bottom. and side by side as we come to 3 to go. Caleb is making up ground. I don't know if it's enough ground, as we were right. The 0 does not have enough. Austin pits with 3 laps to go. So now the question is, does the 46 have enough? Or are we going to hand this race somehow to Smee? Smee last pitted, same lap as Ash, 67. And here we go. At least, if Ash is going to pit, at least let it happen now. And that is exactly what is going to happen. The 46 to the pit lane with 3 laps to go. Smee will follow suit. What does Red Wings do? Red Wings pitted a lap later. So he's got a chance here. 2 to go at Daytona, and it's turned into a fuel mileage shootout here. Reminder yet again, 1 lap later, does he have 2 laps more of fuel in this thing? Ash is out of the pit lane. Austin 5 seconds back of the 46. So it is now all about whether the 71 comes down the pit lane. Most importantly this time, with the gap that he has, he might be able to just win it. We have 1 lap to go in the Daytona 250 of the Snowball Shootout. It is not impossible the 71 comes down the pit lane. But even if he does, is a 13-second gap good enough? Austin's got to run with help from Brayton Laster to try and get around Ash for second place. But the focus is on Red Wings. Another chatter that has not won in any scenario. He's into 3 and 4. Is there any intrigue, or is he just going to stay out and bring it home? It will indeed be Red Wings to win at Daytona. He had enough. Battle for second. Not much of a battle. Austin will come home there. Brayton Laster in between. Ash is third. Back to Caleb. He'll bring it across the line 4th. Smee will finish 5th. Gundy makes a late move on Jeff as the rest of the field will bring it across the line. 7 cars finish on the lead lap. And it is Red Wings with his first ever win in any of the chat series that we've done to bring it home at Daytona. Your final top 10, Red Wings, Austin, Ash, Caleb, Smee, Gundy, Jeff, Brayton Laster, TBNR Cars, and Miss Eric. Here for our first ever Snowball Shootout race. So, your inaugural NASCAR Snowball Shootout winner is the 71 who just played fuel mileage. Like, I don't know how. I don't know how it worked. Austin and Ash, I thought those were the concerning ones. Pitted on lap 67. The 71 pitted on lap 68. But it had 2 laps more of fuel to make it to the end. And that is the difference here today for our first ever race with the Gen 4 cars. We will be back in action in this series not that long from now. Now, of course, this race was initially scheduled For Tuesday, that couldn't happen. It was the start of the new iRacing season. There was a 13 gig update, and I got home too late to get it started without finishing before midnight. And that turns out to be a good decision because it's already taken 2 hours. We were going to go to Rockingham on Sunday. We're going to push that back a couple days. And then hopefully the Tuesday again. We're gonna do Rockingham hopefully Tuesday, so we can do another race in the weekend. That is kind of my goal right now. But from Daytona, and your first race winner, points leader of the NASCAR Snowball Shootout, Red Wings, number 79.